Since the heart-wrenching Bachelorette season finale, University of Wisconsin-Madison grad Jenn Tran has been making her rounds on the popular podcasts of Bachelor Nation alums. That's included Bachelor Happy Hour with Joe Amabel and Serena Pitt, a two-parter, The Vital Files with Nick Viall, a Wisconsin native and U.W. Milwaukee grad, among others. Looking back, what were some of the red flags Tran noted ahead of her breakup with ex-fiancé Devin? Would Tran ever go on Bachelor in Paradise? Did Tran watch Strader's since-deleted Instagram video sharing his side of the story and their private text messages? And is something going on between Tran and another contestant from her season? After giving both pods a listen, here are several takeaways touching on these things and more. The Bachelorette Jenn Tran on Bachelor Happy Hour. Tran reveals Strader's red flags leading up to their breakup. Looking back, Tran said, there were so many little teeny moments with Strader that she wished she would have taken more seriously. Need a break? Play the USA Today Daily Crossword Puzzle. When talking about the future during their fantasy suite, her biggest concern was where they were going to live, Tran shared on Bachelor Happy Hour. In the immediate, Tran revealed that the two were going to do long distance. With Tran planning to return to physician assistant school in Miami, Strader, who could work remote, would live with her 11 days per month, she told the hosts. I was very confident we were going to make it, Tran said. He had led me to believe that there would be no reason otherwise. He was just so willing to compromise with everything. Tran told Strader she didn't want to move to Texas, where he resides, but was down for Boston, where she has family, or New York. They determined they'd move to California in a few years. Later on, when Tran's friend talked to Strader about that plan of theirs, he told Tran that he didn't actually want to move to Cali, according to Tran. That made her wonder if he was saying things just to make her happy instead of actually meaning them. The day after they got engaged, Tran said, the first thing Strader asked show producers was, how long do people stay together? The whole weekend following the engagement, Tran thought things felt a little different, but attributed it to the two of them just getting off of a TV show. After leaving Hawaii, the only times Tran and Strader would see each other in person was for happy couples, which are essentially private getaways set up by the show so that the couple can spend time together without risking spoilers. For those, Tran said, Strader would take the latest flight in and the earliest out. We didn't continue to date, Tran said. He never once planned a date night for us. Long distance-wise, we barely talked on the phone. It was just weird. According to Tran, Strader told her that he was having so many doubts throughout the whole journey, but wasn't expressing them and felt pressured to get engaged. He also wondered what would have happened if he would have just left the day he went to her room to find out if she loved him the way he loved her. Oh, the irony. When Tran invited Strader to come to Miami for a Lauki rendezvous before the season began airing, he said he just purchased a flight to Mexico and didn't want to pay for another, Tran said. While Tran didn't need to talk to Strader all the time, she said he would sometimes leave her hanging for 18 hours. The two of them shared their locations with each other via Find My Friends, as many couples do, but he at some point stopped sharing his with her, Tran said. Tran heard of other Bachelor Nation couples going through hard times post-show and while watching it back, so she thought maybe that's what was going on with Strader. So Tran remained hopeful and continued fighting for the relationship, she said. I was giving him so much grace and just being there as best as I could, and just giving him the time to process everything, Tran said. But I just don't think his heart was ever truly, fully in it. The breakup between Tran and Strader. After lots of fighting, Strader told Tran he wasn't happy anymore, and that there were some days he'd wake up not loving her, Tran shared on the podcast. The conversation took place following a happy couple, she said. Not knowing how to process it, Tran said, she sobbed as Strader held her. She said he told her that he didn't want anything to change, loved her, wanted to work on the relationship, and even offered to go to couples counseling. Tran asked for space for a weekend. With him continuing to reach out, though, she said she thought everything must have been fine between them. It was at that time, she said, that he asked her to book couples counseling for them. According to Page 6, in Strader's since-deleted Instagram video, he said he scheduled multiple appointments for counseling. "We went to a couple sessions together," he said in the video. "On top of that, Jenn and I were also doing individual counseling with our respective therapists from the show at the time." Strader alleged that Tran had fired their mutual counselor without consulting him, and that was when their sessions halted, per Page 6. After watching that week's episode, Tran said Strader sent her a cryptic text about them needing to have a conversation at the next Happy Couple. This was sometime prior to the airing of Hometowns and Fantasy Suites, Tran noted. "I don't like what that means," Tran told the hosts. "Just like call me now. Let's just talk about it." In a 2-minute phone call, Tran said Strader told her he didn't feel this anymore and no longer wanted to be in a relationship with her. The infamous 15-minute phone call came the next day. According to Tran, Strader told her he couldn't say sorry anymore and was done. "I felt very blindsided," said Tran, who was left hysterically sobbing in her friend's apartment in Boston. "I didn't have answers, and I didn't know what to do." According to News, Strader confirmed that the conversation happened via phone in his since-deleted Instagram video. He claimed that he had tried to meet up with Tran in person, but she avoided doing so because she knew what was coming. "I didn't really know what else to do," he said in the video. "She kind of forced my hand." He also said he only began pulling away weeks after their breakup in an attempt to move on with his life, News reported. Does Tran think The Bachelorette was just a game to Strader? Do you think that this was all a game for him? Like you were a prize to win, he won, and that was his goal, and that's kind of it. Amabile asked Tran. While Tran can't speak for Strader because she genuinely doesn't know who he is as a person to this day, she said, that is the first thing that came to her mind. One thing that is clear to Tran, Strader was never there to win her. Specifically, she said, the effort went from 100 to 0, sometimes 5%, she said. And anytime Strader would try to do something nice, Tran said, it felt forced and not from the heart, which gave her a weird gut feeling. Is there anything Strader could have said at after the final rose that could have been beneficial? Basically, no, according to Tran. There was such a lack of empathy on that stage, where I was like, what is going on with you? She told the hosts, at least pretend to be sorry. You don't even seem like you are. Would Jenn Tran consider going on Bachelor in Paradise? Tran gave that a hard no. After doing Dancing with the Stars, she's done with breaks and is going back to physician assistant school. How to listen to the Bachelorette Jenn Tran's interview on Bachelor Happy Hour podcast. Part 1, Jenn Speaks Now, can be listened to here, and Part 2, Jenn on her new era, can be found to here. The Bachelorette Jenn Tran on The Vile Files. Just over a week after the finale, Tran went on The Vile Files, which she had previously been on partway through the airing of the season. Vile hosted the episode with his wife, Natalie Joy, from his family lake house in Wisconsin, along with several hosts who were back in studio with Tran. Vile noted that Strader was invited to be on The Vile Files, but rejected that invitation. Strader posted his truth to Instagram, including private texts. Did Jenn Tran watch the video? What did she think? I have not seen the video and I don't plan on it, Tran told The Vile Files. I know what happened. I don't need to watch a 13-minute video on it. And he's wasted already 6 months of my life. I'm not going to give him another second, let alone 13 minutes. When her friends and family notified her of the video, she said her ex-fiancé releasing their private texts was an invasion of privacy. She felt so betrayed, disrespected, upset, and disappointed. While Strader blurred out some things, she said, other things that were left for all to see were very, very private. I don't have a problem with him going out there and saying what he needs to say, Tran said. But I have a problem with him invading my privacy and releasing texts without telling me. Strader deleted and re-uploaded a redacted version of the video while apologizing for the original News reported. That version also appears to have since been deleted. Tran noted that Strader didn't seem to have much to say during AFR when he could have shared his side of the story with the world. Tran insists she asked Strader to meet up ahead of AFR, just the two of them, without cameras. But after Strader agreed to that, she said he ghosted her and was no longer on the same page. The week prior to AFR, Tran said, Strader sent her mean messages, and the week of, she said, they didn't really talk. What's going on between Tran and former contestant Jonathon? Following the finale, Tran and Jonathon Johnson, who was the third-place finisher on Tran's season, have been making TikToks together and attended People magazine's 50th birthday party in Los Angeles on Friday. So, of course, Nick and Natalie were going to bring him up. He was who they were rooting for the last time Tran was on the pod. Jonathon is so great and so amazing and such a good person, Tran said. Here's the thing, I didn't get a fiancé out of this, but I'm so happy I got a really good friend out of this and a good human being. He's just so good. If that door would ever open, she said, she'd want to make sure they were both at the right place. I'm happy to have him as a friend for now, and we'll see where that goes, she said. For now, I just enjoy his company, and I think we're on the same page with that. Jonathon took our breath away, Veal told Tran. At this time, Tran said, she's not in a place where she could even entertain the idea of dating somebody or investing herself into another person. She thinks she's going to have trust issues for a while, especially after her texts were shared publicly. Even if Boston Celtic Jason Tatum, Tran's celebrity crush, asked her on a date, she doesn't think she'd be ready for more than a friend date. But that's not to say Jason Tatum can't slide into my DMs, Tran clarified. After being informed later on in the show that Tatum's off the market, Tran apologized and quickly changed her pick to the Cleveland Cavaliers' Max Struss. How to listen to the Bachelorette Jenn Tran's interview on the Vital Files podcast.